Welcome to the Old Time Radio Westerns. I'm your host, Andrew Rhynes, and let's get into this episode. This episode's going to be The Lone Ranger. Original air date's March 22nd, 1944, and the title is Rails Across the Choctaw Land. Let's get into it, and I hope you enjoy.
Fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. The stories of his strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness have come down to us through the generations. And nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past and the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver, the Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver, down the trail. I'm Silver! Away!
The Choctaw Republic was an independent nation within the United States. The northern boundary was the Canadian River, which runs horizontally through what is now the state of Oklahoma. The southern boundary of the Choctaw Nation was the Red River, which was also the northern boundary of Texas. For a long time, negotiations have been underway between railroad men and representatives of the Choctaw Nation. At last, a train rolled over the gleaming rails heading south. Then, suddenly, Indians charged at the train. Hard-riding Indians who loosed their arrows at the open windows of the passenger car.
It's your fault. You're the one that caused this. Don't blame me, you. I'll get the redskin that fired that arrow. I'll get...
The passengers, both of them, were dead. The train chugged southward until the need for fuel and water brought it to a stop.
Can't go any farther, boys. We've got to have fuel and water. This is the last chance we'll have to get it.
Come on, Sam. Rogers is right.
See any redskins around?
There's some on horseback over yonder. Maybe we can get what we want without them seeing us.
Make it fast. They've seen us. Here they come.
Rogers, try to hold them off.
I'll try.
The telegraph office was just south of the Red River in Texas. The bridge could be seen from one of the office windows. Arnold Brennan, the man who had worked so tirelessly for the railroad through the Choctaw Nation, and his daughter Mary were in the office watching the man at the key.
Telegraph is a wonderful invention, isn't it, Mary?
Indeed it is, Father. Just think people who are miles away can hear those signals.
When I send my message, it will be heard all the way to Washington.
It may go down into history, Father. I hope you've written it carefully.
Well, there we are. Now I'm ready for your message, Mr. Brennan.
Oh, not yet, Tapper. I'll wait until the train arrives.
It's too bad we don't have lines strung through the Choctaw Republic so you could get word of the train.
Yes, it would help.
You don't know that it made the north run safely, do you?
No, but I'm confident it did.
I hear some mighty great things about the work you've done, Mr. Brennan. Guess you must be mighty proud of your father, eh, Miss Mary?
Oh, I certainly am.
It takes a mighty smart man to make a deal with the Choctaws.
Tapper, perhaps you better save your comments until we see how successful we are in operating the railroad north of here.
Oh, you won't have trouble, Mr. Brennan. One thing about the Choctaws, when they make an agreement and smoke the calumet on it, they keep their word. Who'd you deal with?
Alan Carter.
Oh, well, governor himself, eh?
Yes.
Father, is he an Indian?
Indeed he is, Mary.
But his name, Alan Carter.
You'd have a hard time trying to say his Choctaw name, Miss Mary.
You see, dear, many of the important Choctaws rechristen themselves, choosing names of people whom they admire.
Oh.
Have you got your message written out, Mr. Brennan?
Yes, here it is.
I can be looking it over.
Good idea, Tapper. It's pretty long.
Yeah, I should say it is.
I want to explain the details of my negotiations with the Choctaw people. Our railroad transferred stock in the company in exchange for the right-of-way.
You got land that's coal-bearing, eh?
Yes.
Well, I might as well start sending this while the line's clear.
Oh, no, wait for the train. I want to be sure everything is all right.
Father, look out that window.
Huh?
2 horsemen. Look how fast they're traveling.
Tapper, that's an Indian. He's chasing the other man.
Ginger, gee, where's my rifle? I better step outside and help him.
The man in front is wearing a mask.
I'll stop that redskin. He's no Choctaw.
I'll go outside with you. Mary, you wait here in the office.
He's on the Red River Bridge now.
Now, wait a minute, Tapper. Don't shoot.
I won't
The
unless...
Indian isn't after him. They're together.
Yeah. And coming like greased lightning going downhill.
I wonder if there's trouble in the Choctaw country.
Those men are coming as if they'd brushed a peck of trouble.
Ho, Silver, ho,
fella, Hey,
ho.
stranger.
Ho, fella.
What'd you leave behind you?
Where's Arnold Brennan? You know him?
I sure do.
Well, that's my name. I'm Arnold Brennan.
You're the man who made a treaty with Governor Carter?
I am. But you, who are you? Why are you masked?
Something's happened.
What?
What's happened?
The Indians are angry about something. There's already been trouble, and there will be more.
Because of the railroad?
Yes.
Did something happen to the southbound?
Been an attack. The engineer will bring it in a few minutes.
Then who are you?
I'm looking for the Choctaw governor. Where is he?
Well, for a masked man.
Come, Brennan.
you should-
Alan Carter's in Texas, and I've got to speak to him. Where is he?
Well, what makes you think I know?
You made a treaty with him and his deputies. He's here with a group of men from his council.
I'll tell you where he is.
Mary.
I came out when I saw there'd be no shooting. The governor is in Potter's Gap.
Thank you. Come on, Tonto. Come on, Silver.
Hit him up, Scout. Mary, why did you tell him? He didn't want people to know where he was.
Father, hadn't you better send a message to Washington and tell them that the treaty has been broken?
Here she comes. That's the whistle of the southbound.
Good. That masked man probably didn't know what he was talking about. Trouble indeed.
I think he did.
So do I, Miss Mary.
Why, I see the train now. Look at it come. It looks perfectly all right. Coming at a good clip with a good head of steam.
Just a minute, Mr. Brennan.
It's at the bridge now.
If my eyes are what they used to be, it didn't come through without trouble. Look at the arrows sticking in the sides of the cars.
Arrows.
Father, look at the engineer.
He's hurt. Rogers.
I got her through, Brennan.
Here, let me help you down. Give me a hand, Tapper.
I'll go into the telegraph office and get some water and bandages.
Miss Mary, there's a medicine box on the shelf over the washstand.
All right.
Steady now, Rogers. We'll fix you up all right.
Indians. They attacked.
Now, don't try to talk till we get you patched up. You got any wounds besides this one in the shoulder?
Oh, I was lucky.
Where's the rest of the train crew?
Beside the track. Dead.
Well, one step here, Rogers, then you'll be in the telegraph office. You can lie down on the couch.
Big mistake, Mr. Brennan. Big mistake.
Go ahead. I'll close the door.
There you are, Rogers.
And I never thought I'd make it. If we hadn't had steam enough, I'd have been stuck.
I couldn't throw in more fuel.
I'll cleanse the wound.
Better let me do that, Miss Mary.
No, I'll do it. Please loan me a knife to cut away the shirt.
Yes,
Rogers, you couldn't have been delayed very long.
It don't take long for an arrow to kill a man.
Do you want to tell me about it now or after you've rested?
Now, I want to get it off my mind.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try to hurt as little as possible.
It's all right, miss.
Did you have any trouble on the North Run?
Well, not much. We killed a few of the Indians' pigs that got on the tracks. And when we stopped for fuel and water, the Indians that owned the land our rails went over came to object. They didn't seem to like the stock certificates they got for their land.
What did you do?
We had some passengers. They had liquor. They gave the Indians a few drinks, and we went on. Then when we started back, we had the trouble. It seems that the Choctaws all along the line were laying for us. They picked off 2 passengers with arrows as we passed. I had to stop for water and fuel. They closed in and got Sam and Hank.
And how did you get away?
I still don't savvy how they worked it.
Who?
The masked man and his friend.
The masked man?
Who?
I don't know, Brennan. There was a masked man and an Indian. They charged up against those Choctaws all of a sudden. Sent them skedaddling. And they loaded me up with fuel and water. They saw there was nothing could be done for Sam and Hank or the passengers. Then the Choctaws who had reassembled came toward us. The masked man told me to get going. He and the Indian did the same.
I see.
Was it after that you got wounded?
No, I got it before the masked man showed up, but I didn't let on. I thought it wasn't much.
There you are. I think it will heal all right.
Gosh, miss, thanks a heap.
Take a rest, Rogers. Tapper, I'll send a message now.
Yes, sir.
Unhappily, it won't be the one I hope to send.
That's tough.
You can throw this one away. The message Mary thought might make history.
You want to write out another one?
No. You have the name and address of the recipient. I'll dictate as you send. Careful wording isn't necessary in a message that reports failure.
Just a minute. Someone just reined up outside.
Say, mister.
What is it, lad?
I'm looking for a masked man riding on a white horse. Was he here?
Yes. I think he went to Potter's Gap to talk to the Indian governor, Alan Carter. Do you know him?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
The masked man again.
Come on, Victor.
Well, you ready with the message, Mr. Brennan?
Yes. Sorry to report complete collapse of hopes and plans. Choctaw Indians attacked first southbound train, killing passengers.
Dan Reed, the Lone Ranger's 14-year-old nephew, knew where the masked man would make camp near Potter's Gap and hurried toward the site. The Lone Ranger was on his feet to meet the boy.
Oh, Victor. Oh, boy. Oh.
Dan, you pushed your horse a little hard.
Yes, sir. I wanted to get to you as soon as I could.
How did you know Tonto and I had left the Choctaw country?
I asked at the telegraph office. Where's Tonto?
He's in town. He'll be here presently.
I knew you'd cross at the Red River Bridge, so I asked at the office.
Was the train in?
Yes, sir. There was a wounded man on the station. I think he was the engineer.
The engineer wounded? Badly?
Well, he didn't seem to be.
Where were you looking for us?
Well, I was in town waiting for you, as you told me to. I heard a few things that made me expect trouble with the Choctaws.
Yes, it's already started.
Oh, golly. I wanted to warn you in case you and Tonto were still north of Red River.
What did you hear in town?
Well, some Choctaw Indians came in to buy supplies. They acted as if they were rich and picked out a lot of stuff in the store. They tried to pay for it with stock certificates.
Stock certificates?
Yeah. Stock in the railroad.
Oh, I see.
And the storekeeper laughed at them and told them the paper was no good. Golly, they were really mad about it.
What did they do?
Well, they argued. They said they'd sold their land to the railroad for the paper, and if their stock couldn't be traded for supplies, they'd been swindled. Then they left town, grumbling in a way that didn't sound very good.
A lot of things have contributed toward the trouble. That's just one of them.
But they weren't swindled by the railroad, were they?
No, Dan. It'll be hard for them to understand the fact that they can't buy goods with stock shares.
Golly. I hope things can be settled without war. Why does there have to be war anyway?
Sometimes, Dan, war is the price of peace.
I guess that's right.
Tonto's going to try and talk to the Choctaw governor. If he can arrange it, we'll meet him this evening.
I'd sure like to meet him.
Wait a minute, Dan. Sounds like Tonto's horse.
Yeah, it is. It's Scout. He's coming fast.
Too fast. I don't like it.
There he is. Just saw him through the trees.
Don't unsettle, Dan. We might be riding.
Oh, Scout, oh, fella, oh. Oh, fella, oh. Big trouble in Potter's Gap. Plenty big trouble. You come, help Tonto.
What's wrong, Kemosabe?
10, 12 Choctaw in town. All stay at hotel. Fellas, come in. Tell how Choctaw kill railroad passenger. All town mad. Try kill Choctaw.
Great guns.
You mean to say that people are going to kill the Choctaw governor and his council because the railroad passengers were killed?
That's right.
That will mean a war to the finish. Steady, big fella. Follow us, Dan.
Right.
Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
Victor.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. Tonto brought startling news to the Lone Ranger. The pioneers in Potter's Gap were highly indignant when word came that passengers on the first train to cross the Choctaw Republic had been killed. Mobs formed to storm the hotel, where there were a dozen high officials of the Choctaw Nation.
Sheriff, they'll tear down my hotel to get at the governor.
I know it, Pete. Where's the Choctaw?
Oh, I tried to get them to hide in the storm cellar, but they refused. They're all in the big room in the rear.
They got guns?
No, and they wouldn't take any from me.
Oh, the governor's a fine man. If anything happens to him on this side of the Red River, there'll be the devil to pay.
Oh, they'll have the door busted down in a minute.
I know that. Hang it,
Sheriff.
Huh? Say, how'd you get in here? Where'd you come from?
I came in the rear window, Sheriff. I've got a message for you.
The rear window? Where the governor is?
Yeah.
What message?
You can let those men in. The Indians have left the hotel.
Left?
Well, how? When?
They left by the rear window. You see, Governor Carter knew Tonto and trusted him. All the Indians got away.
Tonto? Who the Sam Hill's Tonto?
He's an Indian. A friend of the Lone Ranger.
During the excitement that followed, when the townsmen were admitted and invited to search the hotel, Dan slipped away and returned to camp where the Lone Ranger and Tonto had taken the members of the Choctaw Council. Dan saw the lean-faced governor, a man of great dignity, sitting by the members of his council, listening to Tonto.
Kume Tolo, Nesi Kabu, Bahame.
It is good, Tonto. You who wear a mask is to be trusted. Tonto has spoken. Thank you. War will make both nations poor. War is not good.
Governor Carter, your people resented the railroad when it crossed their land. It frightened their cattle and killed some of their pigs.
This is not main trouble. Main trouble is stock paid for land instead of cash.
But that stock was given so you and your nation could prosper with the railroad.
Members of council and I understand. Many people of Choctaw Republic do not understand.
They must be made to understand. With your permission, I'll outline one way to teach them.
Man with mask, please speak.
Tapper.
1 minute. I'm just finishing a message, Mr. Brennan.
Go ahead. Mary, how's the engineer?
Oh, he's sleeping now, Father, and quite all right. Tapper thought he'd rest better right here.
Fine.
How'd things come out in Potter's Gap?
There's one thing I must know. Tapper, who is that masked man?
Oh, did you see him again?
No, but I heard about him. Mary, there was very nearly a riot in Potter's Gap.
Oh.
Word of the death of those passengers reached there, and the townsmen wanted to seek revenge by an attack on the Choctaw governor.
Oh, Father, that would be the very worst thing that could happen. It would forever end all
They
hope
didn't
of...
get far. Someone managed to get the governor and his council out of town by a back trail while the mob was battering down the hotel door.
Someone?
The man who wears the mask.
Something told me.
Huh?
When he asked where he might find the governor, I felt that he should be told. You criticized me for telling him.
I wonder who he is.
You got me wondering, too. I'd wonder more if there wasn't something else on my mind.
What's that, Tapper?
Look out the window. Look on the far side of the bridge.
What is it?
Indians.
There must be 100 of them.
I had my spyglass on them. They're painted for war.
Mary, you'd better get away from here.
Looks to me like they're ready to cross the bridge and get at the train.
Maybe it would be well to move the train. The tracks run a good many miles to the south.
What was that about the train?
Rogers, I'm glad you're awake. How do you feel?
First rate. I guess I've rested for a couple of hours.
Are you up to handling the train?
I can manage. If there's someone can get up the steam, I'll need fuel. I guess there's water enough for the time. Why?
You better hurry, Rogers. Redskins across the bridge.
They won't cross into Texas, will they?
They're ready to do anything to get at the choo-choo.
Here, give me a hand.
I'll help you fire it up. Easy now.
You shouldn't try to move yet.
It's necessary, Mary. I'll give you a hand. Come on, Rogers.
I'll be all right in a few minutes.
That's the ticket, Rogers.
Get the train safely away, Rogers, and you'll earn a bonus.
Come on outside. Show us how to fire it up, and we'll do the work.
While the Indians watched from a distance, the fires of the engine were refueled under the direction of the wounded engineer. Brennan and the telegrapher stepped down to join Mary when the pressure gauge showed steam enough to drive the heavy locomotive. Then a group of horsemen approached.
It's Alan Carter, the governor and his council.
Father, it's the masked man.
The masked man again. Governor Carter,
Mr. Brennan, friend will speak for me.
A lot of time is saved by the fact that the engine is ready to run.
We got steam up, all right. I guess I didn't get the chance to thank you for getting us through that Choctaw land.
How do you feel, Rogers?
Fair enough. I'll feel better when we're underway heading south away from those critters across the bridge.
You're not going south.
No?
You're taking the train back to the Choctaw Republic.
What?
Oh. Are you mad?
The governor and his council will ride in the passenger car.
Even so, look at those painted Indians.
Now, Mr. Brennan, I think it would be a good idea if you go too.
I? Not on your life. I wouldn't cross that bridge under present conditions for any amount.
It is my request.
Governor Carter, it was all right when we were talking about a treaty, but now
Treaty has been signed. Treaty will be kept. Masked man will help bring everlasting peace. You'll ride?
Father, you'd better. I'll go too.
No, I'll go, Mary, but you stay here. I don't know how long I'll be gone.
You'll be back in less than an hour.
The horses of the Lone Ranger and Tonto, as well as those of the Choctaw representatives, were put into the baggage car, and the men boarded the passenger car. As the train backed slowly north, crossing the Red River Bridge to approach the waiting Indians, Tapper watched through his field glasses and reported to Dan and Mary.
Now it's almost up to the Indians.
Do you think they'll attack?
Not with their own governor and council on board. But I don't savvy the plan. Those critters are doggone mad at the railroad.
The Lone Ranger said they had to understand their responsibility.
What's that?
Whom did you say?
The Lone Ranger.
Wow! So that's who the masked man is.
The Lone Ranger.
What's going on now, Mr. Tapper?
Well, I nearly forgot about the train. It's stopping. It's right up to the Indians now, and the council's getting off.
Can you see my father?
Yeah. He stepped down. There goes the masked man and his Indian partner. Hey, they're taking Rogers down from the engine.
Are you sure you can stand alone, Rogers?
Yes, I'm all right. You just tell me what to do, and I'll do it.
Stand next to the engineer, Tonto. I think he'll be getting back into the cab in a few minutes.
You watch him.
Did you tell the Choctaw governor what to say?
We discussed the plan, Mr. Brennan. He's getting ready now to address all these Indians.
I hope he can pacify them. It certainly looks as if they'd like to let us have those arrows.
Members of Choctaw Nation, your council has returned with happy news. A great treaty has been made with railroad company. Some of you are part owners of railroad. Who among you has paper like this?
What's that he's holding up?
A certificate of stock in the railroad.
You have traded your land for part of the railroad. Step forward. You are part owners of the railroad. The company did not pay you in money for your land. They gave you the railroad. There, the iron horse that breathes fire. It is yours. Take it. Run it. You will receive money for the passengers and goods you carry.
Is he serious? Is he really giving them the locomotive?
Wait until he finishes, Mr. Brennan.
Your cattle was frightened, but it will become used to the iron horse. Your pigs were killed, but there will be fences to keep them off the tracks. It is your own railroad that did this damage.
Look at them. They're beginning to understand that this choo-choo is their own.
Now you must learn to run the iron horse and make it obey your commands. You must take care of it and keep it in good health. This is the command of your council and your chief.
All right, Mr. Brennan. We'll return to the telegraph station and wait there.
Without the locomotive or the cars?
You can ride with me. Tonto will carry Rogers on his horse.
Oh, very well. You seem to give me a feeling of confidence.
First part of plan has been carried out.
Thank you, Governor Carter. We'll return to Texas and wait in the telegraph office.
Let my people examine Iron Horse and learn difficulties of operation. I will remain to give further explanation.
We'll be waiting.
The small telegraph office was crowded. Brennan and his daughter watched the distant Indians through the window. Tapper watched through his spyglass. Rogers, the engineer, rested on the bunk. And the Lone Ranger and Tonto waited near the door with Dan Reed. Presently, Brennan reported,
Some Indians are coming across the bridge.
What do they look like, Tapper? They don't come as if they're looking for trouble. They've got an extra horse with them.
Why, so they have. What are the rest of the Indians doing?
Still climbing all over the cars and engine like kids with a new toy.
I dislike the idea of giving away a locomotive.
You haven't given it away, Brennan. It had to be used as an example, so the Indians would understand what their stock shares meant.
But if they try to operate
Maybe
it,
the Indians who are coming will have some interesting information for us. Tonto, you and I will go outside to meet them.
May I come?
Of course, Dan.
Say, Mr. Brennan, I still have that message you intended to send.
The one I tore up?
Yeah, I pasted it together. I got it right here. Maybe I'd better get ready to send it, eh?
But how can I send such a message? The Indians attacked the train?
That is before they realized they were attacking their own property.
But how?
And it was before the Lone Ranger stepped in.
The Lone Ranger? Is that who that masked man is?
I'll just check, make sure the line's clear.
Brennan, the Indians have brought a message for you.
Yes?
What is the message?
They can't operate the train themselves. They're willing to pay your engineers and firemen to run the train for them.
Well, that's me.
The pay will be deducted from their profits when dividends are declared on their stock. They are very proud of the railroad. Promise to see that it gets the very best of care.
Why, that means... That's exactly what I wanted from the start.
Exactly. Only now they understand cooperative ownership.
Mary, did you hear that? Tapper, you have my message to Washington. Precede it with this.
I'm sending the name and address right now, Mr. Brennan.
Great. Then say, disregard message reporting failure. Treaty has been signed, and future of railroad in Choctaw Republic is assured through intercession of the Lone Ranger.
Hail Silver! Hoy!
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
This has been a presentation of OTRWesterns.com, and we hope you enjoyed. Please take some time to like and rate our shows in your favorite podcast application. Follow us on Facebook by going to OTRWesterns.com/Facebook. Join in the conversation by going to OTRWesterns.com/Discord. And don't forget to send us an email, podcast@OTRWesterns.com. This episode is copyright under the Attribution Non-Commercial Share Alike copyright. For more information, go to OTRWesterns.com/copyright. Have a great day, and again, thanks for listening.